that simple.
That's the whole song. And it goes, and the chorus is just this. And it's got an overdrive slide.
Oh.
That's it. That's the whole song.
But who was that with that we were playing in London?
We played in London and we're at the Hammersmith Apollo, which used to be called the Odeon.
Yes.
Which is where Ziggy Stardust was filmed.
That backstage is incredible too. It was like that big green room.
Yeah. So it's the green room. We went to the bar.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we're there. And I don't know if it was Dave or whatever.
I know.
There. And like right there was Jimmy Page.
It was insane.
Whoa, that's so cool.
I remember, and then and that was just before we went on stage.
Yeah.
We was hooked into it. I think we were living in England or something like that. I look over and there's Jimmy Page right next to my amp going.
Yeah.
You know,
unbelievable.
That's something my dreams are made of.
So we're talking about Led Zeppelin. Like Jimmy, when we're talking, we're talking about our favourite guitar players. I don't think you can go past. Look, I love Hendrix. I love Keith. I love all this. You look at Jimmy Page, early 70s, low Les Paul.
Oh, how low did he sling that thing in 68, 69?
They were gods. They were gods. It was seeing Jimmy Page like that. So this is like 91 maybe, 92, 93.
Yep.
We're standing next to Jimmy Page. He said hi. He was nice. He was polite.
Invite us back to his nightclub. What nightclub? Nightclub? The nightclub? Yeah, we'll go back.
He was like, it was like God. It was like, I remember saying hello to Robert Plant in Germany about the year after, and that was another. Remember we went on gigs over there with him, and he was a beautiful man. He was actually a real gentleman. But that's fucked up. I mean, that's as big as it gets for me. That we met the kings of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, it is
unbelievable.
It is.
So you know what, Led Zeppelin was always. So did you say they formed in 68?
68, yeah, okay. Apparently.
Yeah.
That's what I've got the thing.
There's a bit mucky.
There's a bit of muckies there going on. Where's the mucky muck?
I've just got a message from the producer. There's a bit of noise, a guitar noise maybe.
It's probably me. There you go.
Oh, see, I couldn't even hear that.
See, I can't hear that either. But
so Led Zeppelin. Wow. I don't know. I'm just gobsmacked. You look at who the greatest bands in the world were. I can't help but just come back to Led Zeppelin.
No,
I can't help it because you got here. Okay, here's the thing: what makes a great band? In our book, the greatest guitar hero that ever lived could play, but played, and we'll play a few licks in a minute. Could play open tunings and acoustic stuff, and then rock like nothing, like no one.
So Stairway to Heaven, something like that, to Black Dog. I don't know. It's like
it's insane. I mean, things like Rain Song in the Ocean and just outrageous. But then you got here's a guy that produced the records as well.
Oh, did he?
So we're really adept in the studio, like mind-blowingly. And then you've got, on top of that, you've got Robert Plant, who is still the pinnacle of rock singers. You have a look at him. He had the sex, he had the charisma, he had the danger, he was like the Viking that came down and had all the power.
And then suddenly you've got this rhythm section.
And then you've got like
that drummer is insane.
Without a doubt, John Bonham's my favourite drummer of all time. Without a doubt.
Was that his son that was playing it when we saw him in Germany? We met him in Germany. Or
no, that was a guy called Michael Lee, who's since passed away.
Oh.
And we'll talk about him in a sec. Actually, he did the Page Plant tour in the 90s, but he played with Robert for a long time. We actually asked him to audition for us when Brad left.
That's it.
And he couldn't do it because he'd just gone for a secret audition with the Cult. And at the time he was playing in a band called Little Angels in England. And They were sort of getting around while we were getting around.
Can we do the Cult one, like, sooner or later then?
Yeah, we should do the Cult.
Later on, we'll do the Cult.
So anyway, this Michael Lee guy, he went for an audition with the Cult, and he got the gig in the Cult, so he wouldn't audition for us. He was like, well,
which is a bummer because...
And then he left the Cult because Robert Plant asked him to join his band. But the point of Joe Mag is, like, John Bonham he's my favourite drummer of all time.
Yeah.
When you saw this Michael Lee guy, you just went, holy Christ, this guy's the best drummer I've ever seen. So watching him do the stuff with Robert Plant, who can play bonzo like that? He could. He was a freak. He passed away, I think, from cancer just a few years ago, which is really sad because he was our age, our vintage.
Yeah.
But going back to that rhythm section, then you got John Paul Jones, who I guess was like sort of like Paul McCartney and the Beatles. I think he was a virtuoso musician. Could play anything that he put his hands on.
True.
You know, could play the clav, the keyboards, Hammond, piano,
everything,
bass, flute, all like whatever. Just a consummate mechanic. Could play anything. So yeah, look,
all four of them together.
What a beast! And you know the thing I really love about Led Zeppelin too is that I really love how Robert won't do the band because he said when John Bonham died, I think it was 1980, 81. Led Zeppelin's over. It was the four of us. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's always respected that. They've done the 2 gigs, I think, that my good mate Kevin Shirley actually recorded. It was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And Jason Bonham played that. And he played it really well. But I really respected that they wouldn't do it. And they were offered, like, ridiculous money to reform. And Robert's like, no.
Yeah.
No, I won't do it. No.
Oh, it's so good, though.
Yeah. And Robert's gone on to do some great things. I really loved a lot of his solo stuff. I really loved the stuff he did with Alison Krauss. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Jimmy kind of got just stuck in Led Zeppelin. He's just, which is cool, eh?
There was a single he did release, though. I don't even remember it. Will come back to me, though.
I'm not sure. It's funny reading the Led Zeppelin books. He lived on heroin and vodka for years through the hate. But geez, he looked good.
Oh my God.
Oh, and then they had this guy. I'm trying to think, was it Peter Grant or Alan Grant? Not even Peter Grant was a manager, and he was like 6'6", literally, and
with a baseball bat,
and 180 kilos or something. And he'd have a baseball bat.
Yeah, I think that's where the Spinal Tap got their thing from.
Yeah. You will fucking pay us now.
Yes,
and this will happen now. No one mess with him. So, what a force! And then you go through the songs. There's Whole Lot of Love. This is funny. A bit of history. It's funny that all these Brit guys, okay, because you're talking about, the British invasion. So let's go back. Jimmy Page was in the Yardbirds.
Yeah. So we're talking like, like Clapton.
Yeah. So yeah,
Beck.
exactly. So the Yardbirds had, I think Beck he started it, and then I think it was Jimmy, and then I think it was Clapton.
Yeah.
So the Yardbirds was pure blues. It was a bit like
it's like the Party Boys of the 68 or of 69 in London.
Yeah, maybe even earlier. It was like the Stones were playing American blues. Yardbirds were doing the same, a bit more ramped up.
And Deep Purple doing stuff like that.
Same, all the
Rainbow,
cutting their stuff from the same stuff. They had John Mayall's Blues Explosion, I think it was. But you've got these guys that were learning. They're playing American music, American blues music. So Led Zeppelin actually got sued by Willie Dixon's estate was one of them, and they won.
Yeah. That wasn't the.
Not the latest cases. This is going way back.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. There was another old black musician's estate that sued and won as well on that. This is like their first couple of albums. I don't think they got pegged for Whole Lot of Love, but there's a Muddy Waters song, You Need Love.
Oh.
And Willie Dixon wrote that.
Tuner up there for a second.
And when you hear it, it's Whole Lot of Love.
Is it?
It's total rip-off, yeah. But they did get pegged on a couple, and I know that when they re-released it, they had to put the co-write.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. But look, taking nothing away from that, it's not. I'm not saying that they plagiarised or anything. Yeah, they just went through a lawsuit with was it Spirit over Stairway to Heaven? That was resolved outside of the courts, I believe. when you do hear the Spirit song, you do go, wow. But look, at the end of the day, how many chords are there? How many progressions can you have?
13, I think.
Stairway to Heaven is just a killer song. It's off the charts.
Do you know Stairway to Heaven? I did learn it, but now I've forgotten it completely. I think you get that whole thing of how you go into music shops. I think the ones in America, it's like you want to play guitar, no problem. Don't play Stairway to Heaven. You can't play
Stairway to Heaven. That was one of the first songs I really wanted to learn when I could start to play guitar.
Yeah.
And then I forget it.
You just forget.
So look, anyway, going back to that, you've got this lineage of it comes out of American blues music, right? And you've got Jimmy Page. We're talking to Di Pritchard in another episode, and we're talking about Kevin Borich, who learnt to play all that stuff that Hendrix played by ear, and they really got it. And Jimmy Page obviously learned all this stuff and taught everything himself. And it's quite phenomenal because when you look back and you learn Led Zeppelin or Jimmy Page solos and that, you're like, wow, it makes perfect sense. And the Hendrix stuff makes perfect sense. They're really good guitar lessons. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And this is before YouTube. And this is people listening to really primitive records.
I know.
And just playing.
Scratching the shit out of it. I've got to listen to it again.
Yeah. So getting into the Led Zeppelin thing, it's like they've come out of this blues thing for sure. But they'll probably, and I think they've been talked about as the first heavy metal band. They're the first band to get really heavy on that stuff.
Dazed and Confused, that was like starting to get very heavy there.
Absolutely. I don't know what people would have thought when this stuff first came out. It must have been mind-blowing. I mean, imagine hearing this stuff straight after you've heard the Beatles and the Stones. I mean, this went to another level.
It did go to another level.
In saying that, there's a lot of people would say that when Led Zeppelin became huge, they were the first bands to really embrace stadiums and big arena tours and put together massive production, massive PAs, massive lights. Yeah. And I actually think I'm pretty sure that it really kicked the Rolling Stones into gear to go, okay, we actually need to start playing through systems.
Yeah.
Because the Beatles never played through big systems or lights. They didn't exist.
No, didn't exist.
So real groundbreaking. But then, okay, you've got all that. You've got all the bits. You've got the band. You've got this management. You've got this guitar player that was just from another planet. But then you've got these songs that were just, not only from a guitar player's perspective, but across the board. You know what I think they had? Women loved Led Zeppelin too. Women loved it, Where if you look at like your Deep Purples and your Black Sabbath, they're blokes bands.
Yeah.
You look at Metallica, they're bloke band. You go to concerts, it's 95% blokes, which is cool. But Led Zeppelin, it appealed to everybody. They hit everyone.
I suppose they came out of that 60s hippie flower thing.
Absolutely.
But then went into, well, it was so different back then. Like if you listen, even like for Rainbow or Deep Purple or something, very similar coming out of that 60s rainbowy.
Yeah. They're a bit of the hippie vibe to it.
Hippie vibe. The girls loved it.
Yeah.
The whole thing is sort of the start of, for obviously, Woodstock was the whole start of that whole thing. And, there's Jimmy Page up there with his white suit with huge flowers and flares. His guitar slung down his knees, I think.
They're just bigger than anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like AC/DC became. AC/DC were bigger than any festival or anything you could put together. Just put them on the bill and they were bigger than it.
Yes.
I think Led Zeppelin were the same.
Yes, they certainly were.
I think it's funny, we talk about the greatest guitar solos of all time. And I would say these are two of my favourite guitar solos of all time. And I'm pretty sure every magazine's always voted them like this. It's either the solo to Hotel California, which is just off. And again, I've learned every lick in that and forgot them 10 times. But Joe Walsh and Don Felder just came
I saw them together.
Just, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Was it in Melbourne? Did I see that? I think I saw them together too when they first got back together.
No, this is honestly in Newcastle in the Vineyards.
Oh, that wasn't with Don Felder.
Oh, wasn't it?
No, they got rid of him, unfortunately, which was really sad. About, 10 years ago or so. But Hotel California solo is one of, if you want to learn guitar licks, go there. The interesting thing is, and I want to match this with the Jimmy Page stuff, when you learn those licks, you go, this makes perfect sense. This is in this scale. It follows this progression. It's
like that nice thing. It's like they hold that sustain.
Yeah, well, that's Joe. Yeah,
Yeah, you know that's it.
Yeah. I'd have to learn that again, but it's all like it's all your pentatonics and stuff, but it's just the phrasing. So it's all about phrasing. But the other solo that always wins, it's either one or the other. It's either Stewart, it's either Hotel California or Whole Lot of Love, which is the shortest solo ever.
Oh, you know that.
But it's just.
Do you know what? When you were doing that, like, do you know that last bit? Like, I would go like, I was trying to count it, but they would go.
So.
How can you count that one? You know, it's like. Oh.
It's like
So one must have just been going.
Black Dog's another one where apparently Bonzo used to go up his brain and go, look, I don't know what you're doing, Jimmy. Just do this. Just play that. And it sort of came. It made sense in the end.
Yeah, because the last ones you would count like 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, bum, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, and the last one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7, 8. Oh, I don't know, maybe now.
Yeah,
you know,
they worked them out. I don't know what year. I'm trying to have a look when Whole Lot of Love was.
Oh, Whole Lot of Love. 71 or 69, one of them.
Okay, so what I want to point out is, who the fuck was playing guitar like that? like this is. I mean, it's
Beck would have been coming close.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Jeff Beck was. I mean, all these guys say Jeff Beck was the guy. Like, it's funny. Jeff Beck was in the Yardbirds. It seems to like all. Like, if you put some sort of like ropes or lines, if you had to put up a wall with like, where does these lines go? Yeah.
There's a few down the bottom here, and Beck's definitely.
They're all going like Jeff's guy. If you want
because Hendrix was hanging around him at the time,
yeah.
at the same time before, after he came back from, we came back from America, came to London, hanging there. There was Clapton. They all seem to, Beck's definitely down there with the.
Apparently it took Jeff a long time to get over, and I don't blame him. He was the guy that influenced a lot of those players. He was the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
Out of Jeff Beck came these people, right?
Okay.
Straight out. You had Jimmy Page went on to Led Zeppelin. Eric Clapton went on to Cream and then to become Eric Clapton. The first Jeff Beck album was Ron Wood plays bass on it, Rolling Stones. And Rod Stewart was his singer for the first 2 albums, became The Faces and Rod Stewart. And here's Jeff. Like, and you could see him in most of these bands. He would have just blitzed it.
He would have blended right in.
Would have blitzed it. So.
And I mean, I'm sure The Edge was like a big, that was a big influence for him, for sure,
Yeah, I mean, a real master of sounds and electronics and all that sort of stuff. this
what it was.
So here's the thing I love about this Led Zeppelin solo. I just did this. It's like. Sorry.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's so cool.
It's a killer thing. But I love this one. It goes.
So you're bending up one step above.
It might be a 1.5 bends.
Yeah, it is. It's about 1.5 bend.
And this is the best one. Is the this one here. That's a killer. Well, that's always easier when we're tuned down to E flat to bend that.
True that. But I just love doing those a lot, even with the Jet stuff and the solos. Sometimes when you're going off so hard, like there's chaos all around you, and you got like blood and tears in your eyes and sweat. You can't see nothing going on here. Sometimes it's good to sort of like.
Yeah, and just push them sharper,
high, and there's your solo.
Yeah, man. I find that's a real Joe Walsh thing. He you might just remind me of Joe Walsh. He said something like, hey man, when you're really in that zone and you're really ripping the licks out, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Nothing better than just to keep bending as high as you go. You'll try and snap the string as high as you go. That was your thing.
It just flies away. So look, anyway, that solo is just so succinct, so short, so succinct. All about phrasing. I mean, oh my God. You compare that Hotel California solo, which goes forever, and there's something like 36 licks you got lined up.
Oh.
But here's the whole of love, bang, there it is. Wow.
Yeah, it's a ripper.
What a God. All right, so you got the big ones for guitar players. Obviously, that song, the minute you start that at any gig anywhere in the world, people go, oh yeah, I'm into this. That's one of those songs. It's really funny. Danny Young, JetsPlayJets singer. I'm pretty sure he's the only guy I've ever had sing that song.
Oh wow!
It's always if I've ever done that song, I've needed a girl to sing it because it's just so hard to sing. The other great songs, the solo in "Stairway to Heaven" too, is just. I'll ruin it, but that first. That one.
Nice.
Oh, come on. And so.
Nice.
That's but that. Just beautiful.
It's fine lining. It's something that's like.
Get into that if you want to learn some like the. All that sort of gear. It's really blues pentatonic based. A lot
It
of
is.
that. The other one that this is a song that I've never rehearsed a song so much to get this song. Never ever in my life. This was the hardest song I've ever done ever. And Di Pritchard and I used to do it. It's Black Dog.
Oh,
and you're talking about weird timing and stuff. So apparently the story behind this one was like Jimmy's like, John, just play it. Don't listen to what I'm doing. Just keep playing, because I'll go behind it
or in front,
and then it'll come back together.
Yeah, no, did it all the time.
It's so hard to get that song right, but it's so good when you do. It's such a killer song. The old what is that?
Oh, that's all that bend.
It's just a killer song.
It is. It's killer.
Robert Plant singing on that too is just mind blowing. He's funny. He reminds me a bit of. He's definitely a survivor, Robert Plant. I mean, he's a guy, right? He's a guy. Stay with me here. Stay with me.
I'm staying.
You got a record like Nirvana, Nevermind, and the guy sings amazingly. No one can sing like that.
Yeah.
Really big Kurt Cobain fan here. He could never sing it again either. He got it in the studio. Apparently just tore his throat out and he could never sing it. And apparently as part, it was really heavy for him. He was trying to do gigs and just couldn't do what he recorded.
Wow.
So his Robert Plant does the same thing, 40 years before, 30 years before. I don't know if he ever sang. I mean, I don't know if his voice was like that in the 70s, but this is the thing about Robert Plant. No matter how he sang these hits, it was still gobsmackingly amazing. So it wasn't like, I'm just going to go generic and sing this an octave under or whatever. However he did it was still equally as full of mojo.
Yeah. One of my favourites has got to be Days Confused. It's the first time that
it's heavy, it's sad, it's heavy.
It's heavy, sad,
dark.
but it's also where Jimmy brings out his violin.
Yeah, the bow. Yeah, right.
And it's just different sort of solo altogether. It's dark. It's heavy. It's probably one of the most heaviest ones. It's like after that you go, well, I'm ready to go into some really heavy metal stuff.
So he's known for the Les Paul guy, right?
Yeah.
But apparently a lot of those recordings is on telecast.
Oh, it would be on a telly. Yeah. Yeah. No, you see him with a telly a lot.
Yeah. Particularly the early days, he played a telly more.
Absolutely. I think it was a telly that I think after we played the gig in London, we went over to America and we went up to Canada.
Yeah.
And I think a guitar came from Jimmy's, from one of his road crew or something.
Yeah.
And asked if we wanted to play it. I think it was a telly.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a good memory.
Well, that's a really me to memorise going home.
That's whack, that is.
Because I know it was a telly and I was going, well, I'm not going to play a telly. And you went, oh, well, I'll play it.
Yeah.
And I think you grabbed it out. And, because it was a road crew that come. One of Jimmy's crews.
Yeah.
And went,
I've forgotten all about that story.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish we had iPhones back then.
Yeah, well, that's maybe not.
Yeah, actually. You know what's funny? The things that we've seen
And said,
and there's no footage of it. Like when we toured, I couldn't think of anything worse than having a video camera or a camera. I'm like, fuck that. I just want to enjoy it.
We didn't like it.
Where we are.
Yeah, we really were against, we were for the time, for the moment. Everything was for the moment.
That's right. And now it's like, oh, God, we've got to get the selfie, we've got to get all this.
Well, there is no
like
more
we're doing
moments.
Here, we've got 8 cameras going.
Is there a moment, or is it being caught by you on the moment?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you know,
how deep can you get?
But that's quite an interesting thing. You could look at whether it's surfing or music or whatever, and you go back to the classic things. And this is something that younger generations don't understand. Just because it doesn't exist on footage or whatever, doesn't mean it wasn't fucking mind-blowingly magical.
And happened.
You know, and it happened. I was recently looking at that Midnight Oil 1984.
Oh, you saw it. Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
I was my hair was standing up. Now, and it reminded me of, you don't go and see bands and have that happen anymore.
Nah.
You know, or it's all...
Especially when they're starting to hammer and nail down the drum kit. You know that something's probably going to go off.
Unbelievable. Cool. And I was too young to see them at all. I saw them way after. I missed all that. I was too young. But same as Led Zeppelin, I never got to see them. But can you imagine 1972 standing in the middle of Madison Square Garden? It would have been a cosmic religious experience. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, look, anyway, I just, I can't go past... I just... I always say the Stones are my favourite band. They probably are.
No, there's no doubt.
But then I just...
I think all we're talking about... It's like that when we're talking about who's your favourite guitarist. I don't think you can actually say that. I mean, there has to be... There's so many influences for you to get to a point. Or you would sound like that person, but you don't. You're always an individual, and you must have got that from at least 5 or 6 different influences coming towards you. So, as you said... You've got to have at least a handful, they're your top 10 of your bands that for the rest of your life or prior to that, you went to yourself at one stage and went, no, this is the bands I love. Yeah. This is what I'll be listening to. Yeah. I'll listen to other songs, no problem. Yeah. Same kind of genre of whatever it's going to be. But, the big ones, obviously, your Stones. But then you got, because I like obviously the Hendrix and Clapton, Beck, Richie Blackmore. But then suddenly Angus Young comes into it, and guys from something like Alice in Chains. That dude, man, he's like insane. So you get like these different influences coming towards you. Yeah. So
well, here's the thing too. It's funny. Like it's like the grumpy old man thing. It's like the older I get, the less I even pay attention to anything. I just like what I like.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to get any better. And I'll tell you why it's not getting any better. All these bands we talk about, this is what doesn't happen anymore. These bands developed, they evolved. They just didn't go in and put some backing tracks down on Pro Tools and play along and cut them up and cut and paste. They fucking pre-produced. Like we used to do. We'd rehearse, we'd pre-produce, we'd record it.
There's a lot of pre-production.
We'd make changes. We'd come back and do more pre-production. We'd record it again. We'd record things maybe 3 or 4 times before you ever heard them.
Yep.
And I mean,
I remember doing the recordings and saying, well, that part of the song is really cool, and the other song, that part of the song is really cool. Let's bring it back. And so then we have to go back to pre-production,
absolutely,
and then go back.
So there was absolute craft to it, and it was a lot of hard work, and it was a full-time job. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, it's different to sitting in front of a computer that you can chop things up left, right, and centre. Absolutely.
Which I love doing. Like it's a lot easier, but you miss so much. So when you look at the classic albums, and this is why it will never be done again, and people won't be this good, is because they just did the hard yards. They put the time in. Their fingers did the playing. Their voices sang the songs. They weren't
over and
auto-tuned.
over and over and over and over
it
again.
was done until it was bang on. And that's what makes a machine tick. That when you see, whether it's Midnight Oil, Led Zeppelin, or AC/DC, it's like it's funny, like, younger generations, they sort of go, that's the fucking best thing I've ever heard. But I don't know if you know why they are. And that's why it was that dedication if you didn't do anything else. And when you look at guitar tones or drum sounds, right, you didn't just put it through a plug-in and go, oh, that sounds good. You actually went through 10 fucking amps and found the one that was right, and you tweak it. And there was a lot of work went into it.
That's right. What about how much work went into a kick sound?
Absolutely, yeah.
And if you didn't have that kick and snare sound, anything else you could tom around and cymbal around, whatever.
Yeah.
If that, and it makes and breaks a sound. You could hear it. I mean, Metallica had to re-record an album because of the snare sound. That wasn't quite right.
Yeah. Every album we ever did, the first day in the studio, and this is after a lot of pre-production in other studios, we get into record an album. There is no way in hell it would have taken less than 1 or 2 days.
2 days.
Of getting the drum sound right before you press play and record.
Or even plug the guitar in.
That's how long it took. Okay, no, that drum's not going to work. We need to change the head on it. Let's put a different skin on it.
Yeah.
Let's change the microphone.
Is it a thicker skin? Is it a plasticky skin? Is it
right. Look, we're going to have to ring up and get a different kick in. It's just not happening. Oh, that one's better. That one's worse. It just took so long.
The sandbags, the cutting of holes.
We'd build tunnels.
You build like tunnels.
We put microphones in the tunnel. It was a lot of work.
This is just for one. It's just for a kick.
Yeah.
And that might be, not necessarily, that could be for only maybe 2 or 3 songs.
Yeah.
You might want a different sort of kick. For when you're getting into more like the punkier stuff that we were doing, living in England sort of stuff, And
it's like, here's something too, like you would literally bring in, there'd be 10 snare drums there, and because different songs need a different snare drum. You ever listen to this at home? You listen to certain songs and listen to how important the snare drum is to the song, the feel of the song, the vocal. It's a massive part of it. Now, these are the days when you didn't have, you know what I do now? I get in Pro Tools and I just replace drum sounds with really good samples. I just do it automatically because they sound great.
Yeah.
But the samples that you're using are things like what they recorded. And that's why there are good samples. So even like hip-hop and stuff like that, it's the feels and the beats. It's like, these guys invented how it feels.
Yeah.
So, just that it was just an obsession to a craft that made the magic.
I think so. And even to the point where, like, I mean, these two guitars did a lot of albums for, a lot of Jet stuff. With the P90 versus, your Dumble Humbucker. Yeah. You couldn't have it too muddy. You couldn't have it not muddy enough. Then it had to be that EQ sort of stuff going on. But it's all about the sound, and that takes a long time. It really does.
Richie and I have a bond that is unbreakable, and something that it happens once in a lifetime in a band. It really is that the Oils guitar combo or the AC/DC thing or whatever. But it's about, we spend a lot of time working on tones and going to see guitar doctors and not having the same
total
sounds.
Guitar doctors. What about the amp doctors? They were like full on
mad scientists. They
were mad scientists. But we were coming up with like, I remember at one stage, like coming off the road, and we went into the rehearsal studio for something, and we took our amps and stuff like that. I didn't know how to plug my amp in.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it just took 18 months on the road, coming up with this monster of, splitters here. This had to go right here. That amp is on this, and that wire goes into there. That wire goes there. Yeah. And it's like, that's it got to the point where, look, just put an amp there in a pod box and I'll just plug in. Because we just got to that, like obsession of getting that great sound,
It was, I guess, part of the magic of all this too, these great bands, is it was a volume thing. I mean, it was the energy that came off a lot of amps,
that volume, controlling the volume
was a really big part of the old school. It's really weird. Now I will use a quad box with what we do. Apart from doing JetsPlayJets, I would probably just want one speaker. You know, I'm using a high watt with a 600 watt speaker in at the moment because I blew up the one that was in it. But I even like if I'm using a Fender or a Vox that's got the twin, I still like one speaker. The older I've become, I just want that one pure tone to come from one pure source and put it through the PA.
Nice. Yeah, I used to love also, you know, because sometimes we would have different sound guys flow past us and stuff like that. And, you know, they would just go, oh, look, you guys are a joy. Yeah. Even though we're like loud as Christ, you know, but, you know, easy to mix.
Yeah.
Because you had the right tone. I didn't have to put it through like, you know, whatever bloody EQs I had to put it through because it was all there.
Yeah. And again, I think we learn a lot of that from being in studios. And
the Cambridge Hotel.
Yeah, guys like Al Griffith. He taught us a lot. These old roadies taught us a lot of stuff.
Yep, he used to come up halfway through songs and just start ripping leads out, plugging different things in and go, now you play like this. This is how you're going to play from now on.
Yeah.
And I think it was the first, because I had a few pedals back then, but nothing full on. But it just wasn't working.
Yeah. I learned a lot off Al Griffith. He taught me a lot about PAs too when I was a teenager. That was you know, it's the last of a dying breed. A lot of these guys. It really blows my mind to think that people like Led Zeppelin had a guy that long ago in Jimmy Page that knew so much about recording studios, PAs, audio, amps, guitars, and could fucking play like he was possessed.
I know. They loved to experiment more back then. Like Queen, for instance, like that. They would how much sounds they would come up with and weird stuff, you know, like bashing two pipes together or something like that.
Yeah.
Or hitting a pipe near a pickup and getting that sound through, you know, and stuff, weird stuff like that. They were innovators.
Having the free reign of being artistic. You know, I'll be straight up with it. When it comes to playing like blues and blues rock stuff, I really love I love a lot of American music. I love Americana. I love like
they come up with it.
I love the country stuff. I love a lot of that stuff. But when it comes to pure, unadulterated rock and roll, I swing over the Atlantic to the British.
For sure. Sound. And Hendrix did it. Hendrix proved it. I mean, Hendrix, he could have stayed in America and done that stuff, but he saw that those big boys, the Becks, the Claptons,
and you look at the Who, like I say, your Deep Purples, your Black Sabbaths, Queen. Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones, just say no more. There's something about it.
Massive.
You know, something about it. All right, well, we're going to see you at the next episode.
Yeah, next episode.
This has been Richie. This has been Grant.
Rock on.
We'll play a little bit of guitar and we'll see you all later. Yeah.